Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and resident athletic specialist guru himself, Tate Mathews. Tate, it's hard to believe football season is now officially over. It was officially over for the WCS Sports Conference 2 weeks ago, but the Blue Cross Blue Shield Bowls are completed. To nobody's surprise, Oakland won 6A, CPA won the Division II, all the way down the list. You know, they even had some issues where they had to play the games on Sunday. It was kind of a perfect storm of bad things that could go wrong for the TWCAA, but they got them finished. Football season is completely over.
And I'm devastated. But that's okay. We got a lot of basketball and wrestling to talk about, but yeah, man, it's this season. We say it every year. It flew by. A lot of great performances, great team performances, and it was pretty neat up there or over there in Cookeville at the games. There was some pretty impressive performances. You mentioned, no surprise, Oakland 6A. I'm with you, but I do think it was a surprise in the way they won. 37-0. I did not see that coming. I think it got a little away from them. Whitehaven, but wow, that was. I mean, you know what we think of the Ravenwood team, and Whitehaven beat them, scored 30-something points.
33 unanswered.
33 points.
Thanks for ripping that scale off for me.
It was, hey, give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, so now we know.
They've got some dudes.
We're coming after them next year.
And as many dudes as they had for Whitehaven, obviously, was completely negated by the fact that Oakland's got double the dudes that they have. So hats off to all those teams that won it. It's over. Let's look at, on this recap, let's look at the all-region teams. Let's start with Region 6 3A. We'll start at Fairview. Coach Chris Hughes had a large contingent of people being on the all-region team.
No surprise there.
No surprise whatsoever. I'm going to let you start off. Who was the coach of the year?
Coach Chris Hughes,
Yep.
the MVP quarterback of the Mean, a.k.a. the Mean Machine quarterback. No surprise there. I think everybody knew that was coming, correct?
That's correct.
It should have been. I mean, what he's done is unbelievable. And three region championships in a row, no losses in the region. Did we say that earlier in the week? I mean, earlier in the year.
2 years in a row he hasn't lost. It's been 3 years since he's lost in the region.
3 years since he's lost in the region, back to back, and so yeah, no surprise there. That's what we expected. And then, of course, there's a lot of his players that show up on the all-region list and the MVP list.
On the team list, we have Spencer Flake, Jackson Clevenger, Brody Cox, Nate Jackson, Kyle King, and Logan Parsons, who are on that team side as far as the specialty awards as your MVP, your quarterbacks, things like that. Brock Harris was
the quarterback. Hillary Gray was the lineman. I'll give you one guess who the player of the year was.
Cam Harris-Lusk, who also will be our lone representative in the East-West All-Star game at the Land.
No, we got two. Timmy Stacekel.
Timmy Stacekel of Knowlesville. Apologize, Timmy. But this game will be held at the Promised Land of Austin Peay State University, Forterra Stadium. You got
any recommendations? I mean, is there any other recommendation of where to eat? Not
but one recommendation of where to eat if you're going to Clarksville to see this game. That would be Johnny's Big Burger, 24/7 across from the campus right there on Madison. I mean, are you kidding me?
You want to lay out the menu?
Here's what you got to get.
All right.
You cannot go in this place and not get this. There's two items that you have to always get. One is the chili cheeseburger.
That's right.
Get your fries because they bring you a side plate of fries, not a side of fries, a side plate of fries, and you have to top it off with a nice sweet tea would be good, but you have to top it off with a honey bun and ice cream.
That's right. And don't say what? I'm not doing that.
Just
trust him.
Trust me.
Take somebody with you. Get the bun and cream. Finish it off, even if it's just about 3 bites. The game will be miserable because you will feel awful once you leave. But while you are doing it, it's fantastic. And also, don't let the outside and the decor of Johnny's scare you off, right?
That's correct.
It cannot be strongly recommended.
When you think hole in the wall, this is the place I think of as Johnny's because it is hard to see, hard to find. You'll drive right by it, but it'll be worth the hunt.
No doubt.
The scavenger hunt, I'm going to Johnny's, chili cheeseburger. Say hi to Johnny for me behind cooking on the grill back there, the home of Trenton Hassel, circa 1997 through 2000.
Pretty strong.
How about that? All right.
Love it.
Let's get back into all region teams. All region, let's go 6A. Who do we have?
6A MVP. I'm assuming you know. Do you want to take a guess? Mr. Purdue, TJ Sheffield.
Correct.
Now I will say this. I could have been okay with a lot of them, but yeah, he's one of them. Offensive MVP, Jariel Wilson, Centennial. Defensive MVP, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, Brian Rice, Ravenwood. Lineman of the Year, Christian Moolman, Franklin. Kicker of the Year, Weston Landry, Independence. Punter of the Year, Tabor Miller, Brentwood, which I think either one of those could have gone either way. And then Coach of the Year, Coach Crawford. Now, I know you did. Did you see Coach Crawford's tweet when the Bruins section or whatever on Twitter congratulated Coach Crawford on being named Coach of the Year?
Sure did.
I loved it.
He said
he meant it.
It's not an individual award, it's a staff award.
I'm part of a team, so we won this as a staff. I love that. I thought that was awesome. So those were your MVP, Coach of the Year. Those were the individual awards. As far as the all-region team goes, for Brentwood, Avery Williams, Cade Granzow, Charlie Harden, Jordan Nicholas, Mark Morales, Tank Starr, Zaire Howard. You know what I noticed about that?
These are all household names. We've talked about
household names, but we also got about 3 or 4 that are coming back next year. Ravenwood, Anthony Holmes, Brian Garcia.
Coming back.
That's right. Gabe Slenoff.
Coming back.
Graham Barton.
Coming back.
Jordan Smith.
Coming back.
Luke Schaus. Independence, Colby Logan. Ethan Cash. Coming back. Isaiah Collier. Jake Huner. Tyrus Jackson. Franklin, Chapman Baird, Matt Gacka, Rashad Jenkins, Dominic Roberts, Centennial, Dave Amos, Jacob Spears, Sean Hannon, obviously Jariel was too, and then Dixon County, Carner, Stewart, and Darian Burns.
So you look back at that, there are a lot of those names coming back specifically for the top 2 teams in Brentwood and Ravenwood. We move on to 5A. MVP, Michael Burdick. Page picks up his first offer from Lindsey Wilson. Let me tell you, if he goes to Lindsey Wilson, they're going to absolutely they don't know what they're getting.
No.
They're going to get him, and they're going to be like, how did this kid fall into our lap? Michael Burdick for Page was the overall co-MVP.
With who?
Grayson Trammell of Shelbyville.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I mean,
can you?
Yeah,
I mean, I know you don't like it.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I give him that. Co-defensive MVP Jackson Satterfield of Page. Offensive Lineman of the Year, Ian Smith. Page is one of your favorite guys that you like to talk about.
Yep.
Defensive Lineman of the Year, Braden Stem of Summit. Old Sparty gets one in there. Co-Kickers of the Year, Chase Tidmore of Page. Coach of the Year, Coach Charles Rathbone of the Page Patriots gets the Region 5 5A Coach of the Year. Page had these representatives on the all-region team. Luke Bowers, Austin Harshaw, Nick Hurd, Christian Tidmore, Simon Simons, Cade Ashman, Brady Buckley, Cade Walker, Miles Bond for Summit, George Odomegwu, Zach Klaus, Max Meeker, Jacob Douglas, Christian Jolly, Nifus Weldon, and Jonathan Myers.
Very impressive. Something to be very proud of, too. Don't take that lightly. That's a big deal, man. There were some good players in that region, in all these regions, and to be named to that is a big deal.
And to last, the 4A group, which Nolensville was a part of, Athlete of the Year, Tim Kutris. I thought that was interesting get for him.
I agree with that, too.
Quarterback Ryan Gallardi, running back Colton Dooley, and linebacker C.J. Ware, along with a host of other Nolensville Knights. And that is officially the end of football season.
2018.
Now let's get into something that you love and it holds close and dear to your heart.
I can't wait.
The basketball season. The varnish is in the air. You can smell it. It's still fresh. That popcorn is squeaking. November 30th. November 30th. Game should not be this big.
But it was.
But it was.
Huge.
Huge. Not only that, huge district implications on the line. The first District 11 AAA game. Brentwood traveled down into Franklin High School on just another Friday night in the WCS Sports Conference. It was fire-marshaled out. It was an unbelievable crowd. It was just, I mean, after the game, we were talking, and you start looking, he said that the game shouldn't be this important in November 30th, but the importance of this particular game is just huge. It's going to come down the road. You're going to look at this. you know, they finish up the year. I think Franklin has to go to Brentwood, so it's going to be interesting to see. That could potentially be for the District 11 AAA crown on the boys' side, potentially girls' side. You never know how it's going to play out. But I mean, you're talking about an atmosphere. This was an atmosphere. I mean, standing room only, and the game lived up to the hype. But let's start on the girls' side first. When you look at this game between Coach John Wild and Miles Thrash, I think Coach Thrash, I love this guy. If you hadn't had a conversation with him, he's such a very unassuming, quiet guy. But let me tell you something, he's got a little bit of his chip on his shoulder this year, and I don't blame him. Preseason coaches poll has him ranked 4th in this district, and I think he has a huge chip on his shoulder. His kids have a chip on their shoulder, and I think they're going to have something to say about that. Matter of fact, I think they have potential to not only forget 4th. I think they might be the best team I've seen thus far, girls' side. I haven't seen Dixon play, haven't seen Ravenwood play. I think, personally, I know Paige is going to have something to say about that as well. But right now, Amelia Osgood is as good as it gets. The Truschel twins, great players. Osgood, 13. Emily Truschel, 7. Delaney Truschel, 21. They beat Franklin 49-43. That score is not indicative of how that game went. The Lady Rebels made a late surge to get it within single digits. It was 15+ the entire game.
Yeah, we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. There's no way they finish 4th. Now, I don't know if it's going to be 1, 2, or 3, but they're not going to finish 4th. And you're right. Between the Truschel twins alone, you know, there's right at 30 points. And so, and Franklin's a good team, right? Obviously, we lost Holly Harris, but got King back, and they got some very important parts of the puzzle back. And you know they're going to be well coached. You know Coach Wild's not going to let that score get too high, right? And so that was a big win for them. And you mentioned, you know, district implications on the boys' side. I think this will go a long way for the end of the year too. Very early game, but this was a big game for those standings, and obviously Brentwood came out on top.
When you look at the boys' side of things, boys' game, I mean, you could cut it with a knife. The electricity was there, Tate. I mean, it was one of those atmospheres. It felt like a district semi-game or a potential regional win or go home game. I mean, it really had that feeling to it. So Brentwood came in to this game. Obviously, they were 5-1 coming in. The Rebels were 5-2. The score at halftime was 28-29 with Franklin leading by 1. It was back and forth all the way. However, what separated the game was 42-27 in the second half in favor of the Rebels. The Rebels win 71-63. Behind a guard, we're going to, you know, this may be new to the show, this guy's name, but I'm going to talk about him for just a moment. Reese Glover. Reese Glover is currently shooting 37% behind the three-point line. 2 losses right now on Franklin's schedule. You look at they're 5-2, and people are like, well, you know, 5-2, that's fool's gold, right? Procone, Stratford, East Nashville, 3 of the Metro teams they played early. 2 of those losses, 7 to Stratford, and then the loss to Procone. That's their only losses up at this point. But Brentwood, coming into this game, you knew they were going to be ready. It looked like they were in midseason form for both teams. But Reese Glover, 37 points.
And he gets them, and I wasn't there, but it's not all three-pointers. I mean,
he only had 4. That's the thing. He only had 4 points. I mean, 4 3-pointers.
Right.
So 12 of the 37 came off threes.
He's fun to watch, man. I got to watch him working out shooting earlier in the year. That's not by accident that he can do all that stuff, man. That guy's worked to do it, and he's got a lot of talent. But he creates. It's fun to watch, man. The guy is fun to watch. 37 points against what I think both these teams have a chance to be in the glass house. So, yeah, I mean, the dude, and you know what? Big games, he loves the bright lights, doesn't he? He loves it when that gym is packed.
The ball. There's not many high school kids that want the ball.
They think they do.
They think they do.
But they don't really want it.
This cat wants the ball. He wants it when it's on the line. He wants it when it's close. He wants it to break their backs. You know, I had the opportunity. I was sitting beside Ron Slay. We know who Ron Slay is. Ron Slay played at the University of Tennessee. Great player.
And Procon.
Yes, had a great collegiate career. Happened to be at the game. We were talking, and we were watching that. And he was just like, he said, I've heard a lot about him. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Midway through the game, he's looking at me, just shaking his head. I mean, it's so unassuming. I mean, you see this guy walk out, and you're like, you know, maybe he can play, maybe he cannot. But some of the shots he makes, putting defenders on skates, getting past him, getting him on his shoulder and on his hip, putting the ball protected on his hip, taking the 1-2, going up, taking the hit, flipping it, still making the shots. I'm just telling you, this kid's special. I know. All the while Coach Jones would like to think he's closer to 6 foot. He might be closer to 5'8" than he is 6 foot. I mean, it's not like he's overly big. No. Catching the ball, head faking, double pump twice, wants to get a kid off his toes, shooting threes over him. I mean, but what happens is, what that brings, Tate, is it bringing, for Franklin, it brings the fact that you're spreading the floor now. Defenders have to help. So what happens when he helps? He kicks Jordan Bruce sitting on the corner. Oh, yeah. Jordan Bruce
Mr. 10 3-pointers in a game.
Sitting over there with a very high percentage. But let me tell you something that goes under the radar for this team.
I think I know.
Their point guard.
Reed Kemp?
Reed Kemp.
Player.
He's averaging less than 3 turnovers a game. Doesn't matter if he scores a point or not. In this particular game, Reed has 10. That's like gravy on the biscuits.
Yeah.
And you know, if you've got a point guard that never comes out of the game, that never gets in foul trouble, that knows where everybody's supposed to be, that can distribute the ball and knock down the open shot, man, that is so undervalued. I'm telling you right now, that is the difference maker in a team making it to the glass house and not. And let me remind you something. Sophomore.
Yep.
Ask Reed if football helped him prepare to be a point guard at Franklin High School.
So it probably did.
So we're also failing to mention 2 other very valuable players to this team, the post players now. The post presence for the Franklin Rebels are totally different than what's in the past. This will open up the 3-pointers. Everybody knows they want to shoot threes, so it's kind of I hate to call it one-dimensional. So I think that's a little unfair, but they were not multifaceted. They were a 3-point team. Hopefully maybe get some dribble drive stuff. Now you have a true threat of Matt Thurman, Ashari Hainsworth with a little bit of high-low action on the inside. If you double down, who do you double down off of? You're not going to double down off of Reese Glover.
Not if you're smart.
You're not going to double down off of
Jordan Bruce.
So your only option now is Reed Kemp. And Reed can shoot the 3. But the best thing about Reed is he won't take a shot that he feels uncomfortable with. So if it kicks back out, defense is flying, Reed will easily get past him, suck the outside defenders, kick out, nothing but twine music. So, I mean, this is basketball. As good as you could draw it up. Yeah. Two strong posts, 2 really solid players that can shoot the ball and distribute ball, and 1 superstar, who, by the way, he's not selfish.
No.
He's just as happy if Ashari has 18 or 20 or if Thurman has 18 or 20. And here's the thing about the post. They've kind of alternated back and forth. Thurman had 21 game and double-double, and then Ashari had a double-double the next game. So it's one of those things that if they can keep this formula, keep this happiness amongst them, they're going to be good. Now, I want to flip the script for just a moment. Brentwood, I've already made the prediction. I think they split. I think Brentwood gets them. Brentwood is no joke either. Brentwood's got the height, the size, the length. They're long. Defensively, I think they might be a little bit. That's kind of a weakness spot for them if they can figure out their defensive. You know, they have a nice trapping 2-3, man-to-man. They're not. They seem to have a lot of mismatches. You'll get a mismatch for Brentwood on the offensive end because you got their size, right? Because Harry Lackey's hard to guard. He's a big guy. He can put the ball on the deck, go to the hole. Cole Massey is a 6'2", 6'3" kid that can stroke it. He had 22 the other night. And then it brings in Jack Thurman, their star, right? So Jack had 20. Really, really good player. Preston Moore's a really hard-nosed, solid point guard. Joey McPherson's a good player. Ryan, the Windley kid, David Windley, is a really good player. So, you know, Ben Mills, right now, we haven't even spoken about Ben Mills. Ben Mills is their post player. He's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". If I had to give an award right now for the most improved player I've seen in the 5 years I've been here, Ben Mills is that player.
Wow.
He's a double-double machine. He can put the ball on the floor. He's a great, great rebounder, unselfish player. In this particular game, though, what the 1-3-1 defense brings, you know, that Franklin runs, it causes your team to speed up, shoot maybe some quick threes that you probably shouldn't, and it also seems to draw a lot of charges. Well, that's what happened. He ended up getting in a little bit of foul trouble early. He had to pull him. He got 3 early fouls, and he ended up fouling out of the game. So it was a situation where Coach Shirley was, once he got out in foul trouble, it kind of really hamstrung him as far as the inside presence goes.
Yeah, and you mentioned Cole Massey. I think that's a cool story as well. Probably the most improved from 2017-18 to 2018-19 is him. Coach Shirley's talked about him all summer long and then all fall long, saying, hey, I'm just telling you, be prepared. This guy, not a whole lot of people know about him. He's coming.
He's right. And he's got the size, and when they kick out to him, he can shoot over. He did a really good job the other night. You talking about fun? You better mark your calendars down when Franklin goes to Brentwood.
That will definitely get fire marshaled out.
So let's do the rundown for this week. Here we go. Brentwood 6-1, 1-0 in district play versus Spring Hill 0-3, 0-1. We're on the girls' side. Coach Miles Thrash.
Who we got? Spring Hill and who?
Spring Hill and Brentwood. If you add an ing to the back of Thrash, what does it say?
Thrashing.
That's what's fixing to happen in this game.
Do we have do we have speedboat boat racing? Do we have Popcorn City in basketball?
Popcorn City. We do. We do have a running clock. Plus 35. Same thing.
That's Popcorn City.
Popcorn City in the first half.
Can you Popcorn City in the first half?
In the first half.
Holy
it doesn't matter. It's whatever's over 35 is Popcorn City. I don't care if it's running clock. And I'm just telling you right now, this is going to get ugly to the point that Spring Hill might be single digits at the halfway point.
Oh, goodness.
So moving on down, 11 AAA. Centennial 1-2, 0-1 right now at Summit 3-2. Coach Kerry Goodwin's group kind of flying low on that radar. They're playing really good. Colson in the post is a pretty good player. They've lost to Nolensville. They split with Nolensville actually. Lost to Nolensville this past week, 55-47. Centennial lost to Page 70-30. Right now, Centennial trying to find something. They need to play Spring Hill.
Yeah, that's good for the.
That's what the doctor ordered. Prescription pad. Here you go.
That's right. That's right.
If they need
I think this is but as far as region games go, this is a big game for Centennial. This is one they need to try to get.
They need to try to get it. Just don't think they get it. Independence 2-5, 0-1 at Nolensville. This is a non-district game. Nolensville sitting at 3-3. Coach Chris Ladd's group.
Good, brother.
Stout group. Don't let that 500 record fool you. Because right now, who have they played? They've played. A lot of good teams. They've played Brentwood. They've played Summit twice. They've played East Hickman. They played Dixon. You laugh at East Hickman. East Hickman's a really strong AA team over on that side. Dixon's a really good team as well. But Indy lost to Ravenwood 51-24 late last week. Nolensville beat Summit 55-47. What do you think about this game?
It's heavily favored in Nolensville's favor. You mentioned the schedule, and as far as you want to talk about a 1-2 punch with Zoe and with Grace Baird, man, those two can start anywhere in AAA.
To be honest, they're
going to be really good.
I had this conversation earlier today. I really, you take Spring Hill out of our district, and you put Nolensville in that spot. Wow. You want to talk about a AAA district?
Toughest in the state
in basketball,
no doubt. They're going to win a lot of games. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Franklin 4-3, 0-1 versus Page. Franklin, like we mentioned earlier, lost to Brentwood 49-43. Coach Wild looking to get back. This is a really tough game for Coach Wild and the Lady Rebels. Coach Ron Brock 6-2, 1-0 right now in district play. A lot of people had Page in that upper 4 as well as Franklin. This is a huge district game for the Lady Rebels and the Lady Patriots.
Yes, it is. And you saw how many points they scored against Centennial. Paige Wilkin, I think, had 30 of those. I think that's really kind of the key to the game. And if she gets over 20, 25 points, I think Paige wins.
She's preseason picked as the co-MVP. Paige beat Overton 67-15. That score was like 48-8 at half. That would be considered Popcorn City.
That's happened to me a couple times over in the flight league. That's no fun.
Ravenwood 4-1, 1-0 at Dixon. Another huge game.
This is big.
It's not supposed to be this way in the first week of December. Ravenwood beat Indy 51-24, also beat MLK 51-14. Dixon beat Spring Hill 49-31. If we're doing 7 degrees of separation by Kevin Bacon, that score right there makes you pause for just a moment. However, come on, man, we're probably subbing in the second quarter mark, so let's not put too much into that. Jazz, Harmon, Dixon, this could be a huge win. If they could somehow steal this win on the road, Coach Mariska Harris has a leg up on district play. No Fairview doubt. 2-4, Camden 2-3. Fairview beat back-to-back Santa Fe, according to which side of the tracks you're on.
Yeah.
And Harpeth lost to GCA last week. Camden 2-3 as well. It'd be a great chance for them to steal one against Camden in district play. Let's real quick. We got to go. We got to hurry. Brentwood 5-2, 0-1 versus Spring Hill 2-1. This another one. This is a good game for Coach Shirley and his kid and those kids to back.
Let's get the pups in.
Yeah. Spring Hill beat East Hickman by 5 and Hickman by 4. Combined points of the Hickman County teams by 9. Lost to Dixon 63-37. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. Spring Hill will not win a District 11 AAA game.
Wow. I agree.
Centennial 3-2, 1-0. Summit 2-2, 0-0. Centennial beating Overton, Hendersonville, and Page 58-42. The 2 losses they have, these are quality losses if there's such a thing. Mount Juliet by 6 and BA by 4, combined 10 points. Do not sleep on the Cougars. Coach Froden's group is really, really good. Isaiah Poore, Dusty Williams, this team, Trey Carlton. This team is going to be really good. How fun is district tournament going to be? Let's look at that. Just think about that. Brentwood, Franklin, Centennial. Dixon's going to be in the mix.
Yep.
You know Summit, before this thing's over, is going to try to climb that ladder and get in right in the middle of that 4-5, 5-6 area. Page is going to have something to say about that, but right now, Summit 2-2. Summit lost to Nolensville 64-52. They have beaten Cane Ridge 78-73 at Cane Ridge in Hunters Lane. They've lost to Nolensville twice. He has, by design, not played a lot of games early. No district games. This will be the first district game. This will be an interesting matchup.
Oh, I think so too.
Keep your eyes on Destin Wade, by the way.
That's right. Because they're young, right? And they got the 2 twins, but kind of like football by the end of the year.
One's out right now, but Destin right now is.
But he'll be back by the end of the year.
Already had a 17-point game under his belt.
That's right.
Freshman. Playing in the WMAA 6 months ago.
Freshman who played quarterback all year long, and it's not like he was shooting a basketball August through into October.
You're right. Independence 0-4, Nolensville 5-1. Just doesn't look well. This game does not bode well for them. Nolensville really, really good football.
Is Bladorn the biggest matchup problem in the WCS?
He's one. No, Reese is obviously, because you put a big guard on him, he kills him. You put a short guard, he's shooting over him. Bladorn does bring a lot of, because you put him at that high post, that pinch post. He can catch, he can face up, he takes us to the cup, he can shoot threes. He is the best back to the basket post in the WCS Sports Conference. Franklin 5-2 at Page, 2-5. Ravenwood at Dixon, or host Dixon.
Huge for Ravenwood.
Fairview. This is what we're going to get to. I apologize. We run out of time. Coach McCoy. Fairview 6-0. Camden 4-1. They've, Camden, as we're going off the air, has beaten Brewston Hollow Rock 102-65. Brewston Hollow Rock, home of
Rod Sturdivant.
Patrick Willis of the 49ers.
Yeah, I know. Who coached him? Rod Sturdivant.
You didn't know that if I didn't put it on the paper.
Patrick Willis. Phil Fulmer took the dude out of Jackson Central Mary that never panned out, Brooks. He took him over Patrick Willis. You know the rest of the story. What was that guy's name?
Basketball. Go out, see a game. It's going to be fun. We'll see you next time.